Looks like we're good. Hi, everybody. Let me just switch camera a little bit. There. Just holding that a bit. Just loading the machine with red thread. How is everybody doing this morning? Or later on today, or whenever you're watching the replay, I suppose I should say. Hang on, let's remove this mic a little bit. It's bugging me. There. Okay. Oopsie. Come on. There. Eh. Okay. Want to get organized this morning, I guess. All right. Can you guys see this? Back the camera up a little bit here. This piece of fabric is 27 1/4 inches. Henry is, I don't know, ninja dog. I'm not sure what happened. I put the two dogs' bandanas on a couple days before Christmas. I don't know, the 22nd, something like that. And they sometimes they wrestle and fight and whatever. And we'd have to put Henry's back on 2 or 3 times. And then after Christmas, I don't know what it was, closer to New Year's, they were outside because it dried up and could run around in the yard. And then Henry comes back in without his bandana on. It's out in the mucky yard. And oh, great, that's going in the garbage. So I'm making him another one, but it's going to be big. When I make dog bandanas, big square, right sides together, make it a triangle. Like so. Make sense? I really hope you guys all can hear me fine and everything because I have nobody in here right now. And I'm 3.5 minutes in. So I guess I'm just doing a video. Okay, so, oh, my pins are over there. Just a minute. That stay. My apologies as I disappear briefly off screen. On one of the straight sides, leave yourself an opening. I usually use the flathead pins for that. There, pin there. And another one. And pin, I don't know, about a hand's width away ish. Okay, and then the rest of the pinning, I'm going to use these little ones with the yellow ends. Yes, I like to pin a lot. You don't have to pin it all that much if you don't want to. That's just my preference. Kind of pat that corner down a little bit because that's where I'm going to start sewing. That's the stretchy edge though, so don't go nutso. Ah, okay, a couple more. Let's just kind of pat down that corner while I'm over here. Squeeze it with my fingers. We figured that Henry maybe just isn't used to wearing bandanas and doesn't get it. I don't know. We started putting bandanas on Ferris when he was a puppy, so I'll show you his. This one's Ferris's. I took this off of him myself on like January 2nd or something and put it in the laundry. His never came off. I double checked the measurement, and this straight side is something like 22.5 inches. So put it around the dog's neck this way, double knot. Apparently not for Henry. That's why I'm making him a big one. Bugger. Maybe I just made his Christmas one too small. I don't know, because he does have a Halloween one and he has a Canada Day one. Um, I made fruit ones for them in the summertime. One of them has lemons, one of them has watermelons. I forget which one's which. That was not a problem. So I guess maybe I just made the Christmas one too small. I don't know. Whatever. He's getting a big honking one now. Oh, that's weird. I wonder what's going on with everybody. I set this up yesterday. You all would have got your notification. That's odd. Oh well, no worries. We carry on. Okay. 1/4 inch seam down the way. You could do a 3/8 inch seam, it don't matter. Back stitch a little bit. Just go. It's a little windy out there today. Gonna be a nice day though. We have one of those weather things in the kitchen where there's a sensor outside where it tells you the temperature. Yesterday afternoon it was like nearly 13 degrees Celsius. I think that's high 50s. I'm not sure. Fahrenheit. I don't really know. And we have not had any snow where I live. It's flat down here. The environs of my city are on hillsides. So yes, snow exists around me, just not right here. You may have seen my video of the dogs running around. That was at Chilliwack Lake, which is 40 minutes that way. In the video, I said what the height was. It's like 1,100 meters or 600 feet or something like that. So yeah, it climbs a bit. Hence, snow. Okay. Oh, as I'm yapping away to you all, I just ran across my other pins for the opening. Oh well, okay. I guess the opening's going on the other side. Let's have some more coffee, shall we? That might help. Okay. This polar bear fabric is cute, but the main reason I'm using it is because I had a big hunkin' piece. And also red will show up nice on Henry's mostly black fur. There we go. Pivot. Okay. Carry on. All right. Now we're going to do the opening. Helps if I pay attention. Okay. Go back a little bit. Okay. There we go. Let's cut that. And we'll go down here where this pin is, and we'll start again. Down a couple stitches. Go back a bit. And away we go. Oh, hang on. This is going to slip off now. One sec. There. Oh, hi, Jess. Thanks for coming in. So blessed by Jess has appeared. Oh, thank you for joining me. I thought something weird was going on and nothing was working because I'm nearly 13 minutes in. Oh, Jess says she wants to make a bandana for Flash someday. There's a gazillion ways to make them, Jess. If I was a better seamstress, I would make one with a little pocket where you could slip it around the dog's collar and stuff, but I'm sure there's tutorials out there somewhere of how to do it. And some that use elastic and whatever on, I don't know. I just make a big honking one and double knot around the dog's neck. I'm just about done to the end here. I'll show you what I mean. Let me just go back a little on the corner here. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I don't know what this long hypotenuse measure is, but the square was 27 1/4 inches. For Henry's big, fat, fluffy neck. He just has more beef than Ferris. He's chunkier. So that's why I guess I just made his other bandanas bigger and not the Christmas one for some reason. Whatever. Anyway, so I guess I need proper scissors to cut my corners. Hold on. Not organized yet today. Been doing this 8:30 start long enough. You'd think I would figure this out, but it doesn't appear to happen. Okay, so where there's the pointy corner, see that? Trim it a little bit so you don't have bulk. Just don't cut your stitches, but make it basically go across it and make it not pointy. Okay. Same on the other end. That way it'll be easier to turn through. And that down like so. I'm kind of going across ways so I don't cut the threads. And on the other one, it is a right angle. See? Right angle. Go across. Whoop. Now, get your opening area, which is over here, and turn it all through. I have a relatively good thumbnail, so I'm just kind of jamming the thumbnail down in there. But sometimes I take the point of the scissors. Occasionally, I go and grab a chopstick. That usually works fairly well. Stay. And for the seams, I kind of it's tricky to do, but if you kind of scrunch the edge of the bandana in your hand, you can kind of like hold this and take your middle finger and run it along the seam. It just kind of flattens it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a dog bandana. I mean, really. What kind of dog do you have, Jess? Obviously, you have to use a basset hound. Okay, so you can't make it too long, as in two hanging down, to trip on it. And she has nice, smooth fur, so you don't have to worry about too much fluff to get around. I bet she's cute. There, that's a nice point on that. Um, you could try maybe like an 18-inch square, maybe. I did have some bandanas. I guess I wasn't thinking when I made it for Ferris, and I used something like 20 inches, and it was a little bit too short. So my daughter's friends, they've got this rescue. I don't know what he is. He's some skinny-legged, nervous thing. Um, but I mean, he's not a little dog by any means, but he's not huge like my two big oafs. So I gave them one of the bandanas that was too small, and it's perfect for Toby. He's fine with it, and he's got sort of like that buff color, so it looked pretty on him. I forget what it was, Halloween or something like orange would look cool. Just 3-year-old pup and stubborn. Yeah, he has a thick neck, so I have to figure out a measurement for her. If you can get a measuring tape around her neck, you probably could get somewhere. But then you'd have to do some math to know how long your long bit has to be when you fold over the square. I dimly remember that back from school, but that was like 40 odd years ago, and it's all now. There is some formula that you put in the sides of the right triangle and it gives you the hypotenuse, but I don't know what that formula is anymore. Okay, I'm going to go up here and press, so I'm just going to shift the camera a little bit. Oh, hang on, there's one bit I didn't quite flatten out good enough. Now, conversely, I know this is gross. Everyone bear with me. This is what I do when I do top stitch around a bag, like to make it flat so there's no bubbles and stuff. Take your seam and go rub, 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 like that. That flattens it out. That little bit there that could be better. Okay. I just lick my fingers for traction. I'm going to wash it. Nobody panic. Everyone's like, oh, people on the internet are so anal about stuff. If you're that worried about it, get a little dish of water and wet your fingers that way. Okay, is that a little bit more there? I don't really put my hand in it. Okay, now I'm going to press the bejeebers out of it. So I got to move the camera because the camera is currently sitting on the pressing mat. So give me a second. Wait there and back up again. Whoops. Now, let me just check my angle. That doesn't look too bad. My screen's not right in front of me anymore. Okay, so you got an opening, right? So you're going to have to close the opening. That's what top stitch is for. Okay. So, first of all, press. Just get it kind of nice and flat so it's not poofy. Easier to sew. And press your long side where it's folded. Because I don't just top stitch the right sides, I top stitch the whole thing. So that's why I like it pressed. It's just easier. You're not coming in here, Ferris. Go away. I know that was you woofing behind the door. Okay. Be careful pressing this long side because that is the bias side. So don't pull on it or nothing. Just press it down. Make it go flat. Okay. Now we're around the side where the edge is open. So let's see. Let me put the iron down for a minute so don't bump it. When you have an opening like this, hold it with your thumb and your middle finger on either end. Stick your pointer finger in here. Tuck it in on the bit where you sewed and give it a little tug, and it'll kind of pull down. Well, one side's doing it perfectly for me right now, and the other side is not. So what I'm going to do is hold it down with the nice side that I just did, and carefully take my fingers out. And it should, yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. This is not the greatest fabric, obviously. This works like a hot damn with batiks, honestly, because they're nice and stiff. This, not so much. Anyway, so we'll do it the old-fashioned way. I think I might also have too big of an opening. It did kind of work, though. I'm not totally lying to you. Okay, so let's just do careful pressing over here. You just want the open edges to line up kind of so you can top stitch across it. That's all. If you want to sew just this first and then top stitch, that's fine too. Up to you. Okay, so let's line that up. There we go. That's better. Okay. I'm just kind of folding it as I go now. Like making binding, kind of. Oop, that's got to go down a bit further. There we go. No one's going to see this when it's around the dog's neck, so don't be super particular. It's just easier to sew if it's straighter, that's all. You're not going to miss a bit or something. I'll come back to chat in a second when I've done this. There. Okay. There's that. Let me just move the camera back so you can see what I'm up to. And sorry if I'm cutting off my head as I'm talking to you, but I'm trying to show you what I'm doing, not me necessarily. Okay. So there we go, nice and flat. Hi, Andrea. I think it's just a small group today, me and you and Jess. Everyone's busy. That's okay. No worries. It happens. I need some more coffee. Okay, so I'm going to top stitch this with red because I want to. If you wanted your top stitch, can't talk. Your top stitching to show a bit more, you could do it with white or green to match the polar bear sweaters. That would look cute too. Again, it's a dog bandana. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, Andrea. I know. I was watching Joe earlier on. She was doing a good job with the foundation paper piecing. I find that once you get in a rhythm of it, you sort of get a groove going and it works better. But it always takes me a minute to go, hang on, I remember how to do this, don't I? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, she was right about you have to do it like basically the wrong way to start, almost, and then it carries on kind of like normal. It was good though. She did a good job, and that little penguin thing was cute. I'm gonna put my needle down, back up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now that's a little too far. Okay. Just a sec. I was a little bit too close to my 1/4 inch. I don't really want a 1/4 inch. I want more like 1/8 inch. You do your top stitch however you want to, but you are trying to get the edges sewn together, so try to get near the edge. I just was not paying attention and started sewing, and it's like, oh, okay. So let's try that again. Right about, put the needle down. Yeah, there, perfect. That's about 1/8. If you really wanted to hold this together, you could run a few lines of sewing across it. Up to you. It might make it stiffer if you want it to be stiffer. I don't know. I've never done that, so I don't know how it would impact what the bandana turned out like when you tied around the dog's neck. You could give it. Oh, thank you, Andrea. She shared the live. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Yeah, I know it's hard. Everyone does lives all the time, and it's hard to. I don't want to be stepping on toes and stuff, but I only do this every couple of weeks because I don't have any damn time to do it any other time. But I miss my friends if I don't talk to you. I mean, that's weird to say because I see one of our lives all the time, but it's not the same thing. Pardon me. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, with the mic right near me, you do hear me cough more. And this is kind of the boring part of me just sewing away here, but so Jess, if you figure out how to do the bandana for your size of dog, are you going to put it on your channel? I actually have a couple of, or at least one video. Oh, that, I guess they're outside. That was Henry. Isn't it weird they're the same breed and yet I know who barks? They just bark differently. I don't think anybody else would be able to tell that they bark differently, but I know that they bark differently. Somewhere, I don't know when it was, 2021 maybe, ages ago on my channel, I made a, come on, don't start this not moving thing. Ah, hold on. Come on. There you go. Keep going. Didn't want to start. It was sewn in the same place. Okay, let's try that. There we go. Yeah, in the dim recesses of my channel, I did a St. Patrick's Day bandana, and I showed you it. I wasn't live. I just showed you how I did it, and that would have been probably for Ferris. Maximus did have bandanas, and then when we had to put him down, I just gave them away because I didn't have the heart to keep them. They were his bandanas. And for a while, we only had Ferris. We didn't have Henry. So then when Henry came along, then he got new bandanas. Okay, now I'm at the spot where I'm joining up my edge. There we go. That doesn't look too bad, actually. Ugh. Andrea says that bandana must be for a large dog. My pugs would get lost in it. I'm not even sure if they keep one on. Their heads are smaller than their necks. Yeah, Andrea, you could maybe try to do a bandana that goes on their collar or one with elastic. I have 2 Bernese Mountain Dogs. That is why I'm making a big bandana. And this one's for the huskier of the 2. I was saying at the beginning of the live that he ninjas out of them. I don't know how. They're tied in a double knot around their neck. Like how? I don't get it. This one's Ferris's. I'll show it again. This square is like 22 inches. It stayed on his neck from just before Christmas till about January the 2nd, when I removed it myself and put it in the laundry. Henry was out of his, I don't know how many times, had to tie it back on. And eventually it just went in the garbage because he came in one day and it was outside in the muddy grass. And like, nope, garbage. So this square that I'm using, that I folded in half to make a triangle, is 27 1/4 inches. So it dang well better stay on his neck. I was just thinking of having enough to tie double, like a long enough long end to tie double around his neck and have it stay on. That's what I'm aiming for. Guess we'll find out. I just must have made his Christmas one absurdly short or something. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't thinking. Because the other ones, I know his Canada Day one is massive. Obviously, I was paying attention on that one. But again, Canada Day is July the 1st. And usually it's warm. Sometimes it pisses rain, but usually it's nice and warm and we can be barbecuing and whatnot. So if he drops it in the grass outside, so what? Dust it off, put it back around his neck. Not so much a Christmas. Andrea says, I'm looking for a big dog to adopt that can be trained for a service dog. I'm thinking about a boxer. Yeah, I've heard they make good service dogs. Bernese Mountain Dogs can. They're pretty good natured and friendly. So like they could be like, dogs to go to the hospital and, or like hospice and, visit old people and stuff. But as far as like guide dogs and stuff, no. Although they have pretty good noses, so maybe they could be like drug dogs or, something that has to sniff. Although they're not, I mean, obviously not like bloodhounds are, but you know what I mean? And they're pretty smart. They're just very stubborn, which can be a problem if you're trying to train them for service. Sometimes they're too smart. Ferris in particular is too smart for his own good. We were thinking when he was a puppy that we should have probably trained him with agility, but he was born in September of 2020 and nothing was really going on then. So, oh well. He would have loved it though. He's that kind of dog. Henry, not so much. Want you what? You want me to run around and do that? I'm just gonna lay here. That's Henry's philosophy. You want me to do work? No. He's very lazy. Oh yeah, and really, right. I forgot you lived in Texas. Yeah, it's a little too hot for a long-haired dog. Yeah, it gets a little warm in the summer here too. They don't like it. You just hide inside with the AC going. You know, when it's plus 30 Celsius, sometimes it that doesn't happen a load over the summer, but it does. And sometimes there isn't any wind or anything, so then they're just the so they run outside to pee and then they come back in real quick. Ferris wants to run around in the grass and we let him for like a couple minutes and then he comes back to the door like and Henry just looks at him like he's an idiot. What are you doing running around out there? Okay, now we got the corner point that's being dumb again. My machine doesn't like to move along well enough sometimes, you know what I mean? Gotta encourage it a little bit. Come on. There, shove it with the stiletto. That's better. Okay. Okay, I'm coming up to my starting point, so let's put those threads out of my way. There we go. Back stitch. Voila! Ta-da! Humongous dog bandana! Okay, I'm just gonna toss that in the wash when I wash darky things. Here's this gonna go back in the drawer. I have a drawer full of dog bandanas. All right, so what are we at now? 40 minutes. Okay. I'm almost through the Christmas quilt. I've been filming as I go. You saw the beginning of it back in my 12 days of Craftmas when I was cutting the fabric and doing the pattern and all that. I got, oh, I was asked by Katie. You guys know Katie, Green Line Quilter, to join her on one of her Zoom live sewing things. So next Friday, the 23rd, correct? Yes, the 23rd. And she goes live at 4:30 Eastern, which is 1:30 for me. So I will be on her live then. And there's a date in February that I cannot recall. in my phone, which is not here, it's somewhere else. So awesome. Yeah, it'll be fun. I don't know what I'm going to work on. I've got a few things coming up. You guys may or may not have seen my heads up videos about the quilters challenge that I'm in with some Canadian quilters and our friend from New Zealand, and I'm in the 101 basics thing that Donna is doing with a bunch of other people. So I have to do like some testy blocks sort of idea for. I think I know what I want to do for everything because I'm doing 2 blocks for the thing with Donna, and there's 7 of us doing the challenge, so we all have to do each other's challenge. Excuse me. So I figured out my plan. I just have to do some testing to make sure it's going to work before I actually film my videos. So I'll probably be fiddling around with, I don't know, I'll just drag some fabric out of my stash and test blocks out of it. Like eventually I might throw it into a camping quilt or something, but whatever. Oh, Andrea's going to be on too. She'll be interviewing the last Wednesday in February. If I'm finished with the jury duty by then. Oh, okay, Andrea, that'd be cool. I don't. I have trouble catching her live sometimes. It's just they're almost. It seems to be doing something in the afternoons. All but it's after lunch. Yeah, I suck at joining her lives. So sometimes I do just catch the replay while I'm like farting around doing something else. So that's okay. But I feel bad for not getting the live. I was gonna show you guys something else. I can't remember what it was. Oh well, brain fart. Oh, if anybody is willing to buy me a coffee, that would really help out. I am saving up money to get quilted. I know it's expensive, so that's why I'm just putting a bit aside. Fair enough. The main link for that for my buy me a coffee thing is on the main part of my channel page. If anyone is willing to be so kind. If not, don't worry about it. Just keep watching me. Hey, Joe. Andrea's been in here saying that you finished up, so I made a bandana. I'm pretty much done. Here, hold on. Ginormous. For my big dumb dog. Henry's not really dumb, actually. He's just sometimes he's not quite all there. Well, actually, here, while I'm here chatting with you, I'll show you that quilt. I got to put one more border on, then it's basically the top's finished. I don't have backing yet, though. It's probably going to be hard to see. Let me back the camera over here, and then I'll stand back, and maybe you can get an idea. Hang on. Put it up a little bit. Sorry for moving you around. Okay, scooch in the chair so we don't have that in the way. Okay. It's not really directional, but kind of. You get the idea. So I got to do another border over here. And I'm going to bind with the same red, tie it all together. But I have got to go get backing. I need, well, it's about 61 long. And it is a little bit too wide for a width of fabric. It's like 45 and a bit. So I might get something like 3 meters. A meter is about 39 and a bit inches-ish. So I don't know. I'll go to the fabric store and see what I can find. Something will work. Basically, though, I'm going to throw that other border on and then go, hey, this is how it is right now, and finish up my video. because I've been kind of puttering away on that for the last couple weeks. And hang on, where I feel like I'm in a weird spot. Okay, there, there we go. Okay, thank you, Andrea. And no worries, Joe. It's okay. We all got to do what we got to do. I know you were right in the throes of your paper piecing, so it was fine. I thought I might put another border on it with a big print, but then I changed my mind. I think it might be too busy, and I kind of like the red just finishing it off. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be the plan. And the recipients are our nephew and his wife, who are not ginormous people, not like my husband who's 6 feet two. So I can make them a smaller type quilt, and it'll be fine for Christmas to put on their couch and put their legs when they're watching TV or whatever. That'll be fine. So I'm gonna go and see what the fabric store's got Christmassy wise left over. We'll see. Something. If not, well, I'll just wait until like September and find a backing and put backing on it. And that one's small enough. It won't cost that much. I can give it to my neighbor across the street. She has pretty good rates anyway for long arming. It's not that bad. The next one I want to get quilted though is that huge star thing of Fallon's, the Christmas star. Ooh, when did we sew that? 2024, I think. It was a bunch of us doing it. It's still hanging in the closet because it's like 72 by 72, so it's big. And no, it doesn't even have backing yet because that's going to be like 4 or 5 meters. So I gotta hope for a sale. Anywho, Andrea says, I just uploaded the last of my blocks for the Quilt of Valor quilt I am making for Donna's project. Oh, yes, I saw she was doing that. Tomorrow I start assembling the quilt. Actually, I started today, but the video will go out tomorrow. Cool. Yeah, I saw her post that she was making Quilts of Valor. I will probably wind up doing that someday when I have more time to actually quilt and not have to be working and various other things all the time. Because Northcott makes a ton of like Canadian fabrics. So they're usually easy to find. And I can make like maple leaf blocks or something. I haven't thought about it. It's in the back of my mind for, sometime in the future. Just because the fabric's easy to come by, so that's not a biggie. They sort of do like a new version every year. More or less the same. So yes. Yes, Andrew, we do. We have Quilts of Valor in Canada. There's various, like, what do you want to call them? Chapters? I don't know. I looked it up a few years back, just going, oh, I wonder if I could do this someday. And the closest place that, like, organizational, I suppose you could say, is in Edmonton, Alberta. It is the provincial capital of Alberta. So the province next door to British Columbia. And I think that's where I would have to send the quilts to, and then they would, I think. But again, this was a few years back, so I looked it up. So it could be different now. I don't know. There was a couple in Ontario. There was one Nova Scotia, I think. So yeah, I don't. I think the website is quiltsofvalor.ca. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Yes, yes. Yeah, Andrea says, "Would your color be red and white like your flag?" Yes. Mm. Although some of those Northcott fabrics have black in them too, and they're really pretty. So, I mean, I don't think they strictly care that it's only red and white, but mostly red and white, and I guess maybe black or gray would be all right. Set it off a bit, maybe like you're sashing, possibly, right? Depending on what blocks you make. Here am I talking with my hands again. You know what I mean? There was something too about that I read that you can make blocks and send them somewhere, like just the blocks. But I forget now what that was all about because I was like, oh, well, that might be an idea. But if I'm gonna make blocks, why don't I just make a quilt? Like, I don't know, whatever. I thought it was different anyway. But maybe some people like that better. You know, make them all 12 and a half inches unfinished or something and send them off to somebody or some people or some guild or some other, whoever, that puts them all together. Maybe. And Joe says, Andrea, I've been binge watching your videos. Okay, I'm gonna make a note because I gotta watch Andrea's video. Tomorrow, you said, right, Andrea? Sorry for everyone looking at my arm while I write this down. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so since I'm like an hour in and I have nothing really to show anymore, sorry that was a bit of a brief one, but I wanted to get them bandana out of the way. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do in 2 weeks. That's the 30th? Yes, right? Uh, it depends what I can get organized because I kind of have an idea in mind, but it may or may not work. So I might just be in here making crumb blocks again and chatting. Episode 5. Okay. I've made a note. So, you guys have any questions about anything? Whoops, come on. Mouse goes all weird on me now. Okay. Okay, we're good? All right, so. Camera went all funny on me there. That's better. Okay, I'm going to call it now. There's nothing else to tell you. Andrea says, I'm usually busy making videos and stuff, but I just happen to see the notification. Well, thank you, Andrea. I do appreciate you coming by. I know everybody's busy and it's hard to join everybody's live and everything. So I appreciate anybody who makes it, really. It's all good. I'm going to be here every 2 weeks at 8:30 in the morning Pacific time. If something occurs that I can't, I will tell you. Okay? See ya.